Just when you think that the problems have stopped, another one presents.
Bloody piggy.
Bloody dogs.
It's not her fault. I just really hope that it's like not a big nasty thing and just like an irritation, but it doesn't look good.
Legends, welcome back to another one. Thank you for joining us again. I thought I'd be introducing you to our Nullarbor trip today, but the universe has other plans in order for us. So we've been staying in Ceduna for the past couple of days and getting ready to head across to Nullarbor. Anyway, yesterday afternoon, Ash noticed our black dachshund Pip had crazy red bloodshot eyes, which had us worrying a little bit. So she spent half the afternoon ringing around vets trying to work out what to do. Unfortunately, the only vet in that direction is at Kalgoorlie, and the closest vet to where we actually are is Port Lincoln, which is 4 hours away. So we made an after hours call. It's a Saturday morning. We had to get up super early. We're on the road to get down to make that appointment. Hopefully everything's all well, and then we can keep heading across to Nullarbor. Feeling about the vet?
Hoping that, I don't know, you kind of just have to go with your gut, don't you? But there's always the element of like, did she need to go to the vet?
Are we just wasting 8 hours in the car and a whole bunch of money?
I mean, look, there's a chance, but also like I just didn't want her like eye to be popping out on the middle of the Nullarbor. So that was the, that was the risk. The things we do for our dogs.
Yep. And to not be constantly worrying, I guess.
Yeah. It's just unfortunate that we have to drive 4 hours to see a vet there and back. But
well, we're almost there, so we'll find out. The hour of D-Days coming up for Pip.
Yeah, well, she's not going to have a good time. She does not like the vet.
Not at all.
But hopefully, I'm really hoping it's just like a reaction to something. Like maybe, like when we went swimming at Paloobi, maybe she just got too much salt, or she's been sandblasted, or something like that.
Yeah, like she definitely did spend a bunch of time in the water around Paloobi and Point Brown and that.
She doesn't usually, like she's not a water dog, so yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. How's your face, Pippi? Okay.
She thinks she'll realise as soon as this goes on.
I think she's getting more surprise presents. Looking after Frank?
Yeah.
She doesn't like it when Pip goes, does she?
No.
Good girl. I don't think there's room for all of this. Look at those demon eyes.
It's like they stuck things in my eyes.
So what do they reckon?
So they're hoping that it's from a trauma from her lead. Strangulation is when they've seen eyes present in that way before. The alternative is something's going on with her blood.
Yeah, okay.
Or her blood's not coagulating as it should.
And she just had a blood test, eh?
She just had a blood test, and that should take about half an hour to get the results.
Let's go get some lunch.
Yeah.
If you saw one of our previous episodes when it was Ash's birthday and she didn't get to have her fish and chips, well, there's one positive of coming to Port Lincoln again for poor Pippi is the fact that Ash is going to go and get some fish and chips. So I think she's pretty stoked about that.
We got some chips.
You finally got your birthday lunch. Yo.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Okay, bye.
What do I reckon?
I think it's trauma, which is great. I mean, not great, but better than the alternative.
Not great that we managed to strangle the dog and cause red eyes, but...
Well, I think it was the chicken bone incident yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, so when Pip tried to grab that chicken bone and you pulled back on the lead.
Yeah, because her eating a cooked chicken bone is potentially worse than having
Red eyes.
red eyes.
Oh well, it's a good outcome.
Yeah.
Now,
Yay.
4-hour drive back.
Woo! Probably would have been if I turned to you when you were also asleep.
Feel like I could. Looking a bit better. Do you think we should hit the road? Should we hit the road? Should we do the Nullarbor? Oh, back on the road, finally heading west. After a massive day yesterday, so it is a bit of a struggle today, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, so we left Ceduna this morning and we're heading west across towards WA. I'm gonna hit the Nullarbor soon. Tonight's camp should be 52k peg. If you haven't seen that place, you should definitely stick around and check it out because it's pretty bloody incredible.
No.
What?
What are you doing?
Watching Daddy do the diesel.
What are we doing?
Hey,
What are you doing?
filling up. Last cheap place before we hit the Nullarbor. So this is Yalatla, I think. It's $1.88 at the moment. So didn't really need to fill up, but we are going to top it up now. So yeah.
After we figured out how to use the machine.
Yes. How'd you like to live here?
I mean, look, we have some space.
Sure,
But,
we can get it dirt cheap as well. What's for lunch, eh? Bacon and eggs.
My favourite lunch.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Oh, so we finally got a camp spot, hey?
took a bit.
It did. We parked up at this other spot before and Then I made the fatal mistake of flying the drone out over the edge, and I worked out that we'd managed to park in the one area along this stretch where the most amount of rocks had fallen down, which kind of started to sketch us out a little bit, so we decided to move spots. But this one's looking pretty good and will do the job. So yeah, this is 52k peg, which is one of the few spots that's left open around this area where you can drive your caravan down and camp still. So it's a pretty special place, and I highly recommend getting down here while you actually still can. What is for dinner?
Honey soy chicken, and I don't know the other one.
Parmesan and garlic.
Parmesan and garlic.
And honey.
Good to go.
We're good to go?
Yeah, all packed up.
We're gonna stay 2 nights here. We wanted to have a day off from driving, but it's just so incredibly windy. Like, the caravan was shaking like it's never shook before last night, and yeah, Ash is sick at the moment, so want to try and get her some better sleep. And yeah, so we might we've still got a bunch of fresh fruit and stuff that we don't want to ditch at the border, so we might go about 40 k's down the road to another stop, and then hang out there the day, stay there the night, and eat a bunch of this kind of fruit and vegetables and stuff before we cross the border into WA.
Just fruit and veg for the next 12 hours.
Not the prettiest sight.
It's less windy though. It'll do.
So we've just stopped in at 10k peg, which is I think 10 k's from the border. This track actually takes you all the way down to kind of near where you can see the beach and everything here. We just went down and had a look, but it was very windy down there, so we've kind of headed back out towards the highway a little bit, and we've just parked up. Still quite windy, but definitely better than the cliffs last night and better than the beach down there. So it'll do for a day of rest and eat up some food before we cross into WA. What's for lunch?
Cut up stuff. We have avocado, carrot, cheese and bickies, honeydew melon and chicken.
Pretty good.
And cheese and avocado.
We may be in the middle of nowhere, but we have good food happening. Ash is that multi-talented that, oh, hello, cooking 2 meals at once.
I just don't like wasting food.
And bacon all day.
Yep.
And sick.
And sick.
Mum of the year, for sure.
Well, yeah.
What do you reckon, you two? Another morning on the Nullarbor. What do you reckon? Hey? Oh, so I have managed to pick up Ash's germs. So today will be a very good time. We're going to drive, I think, about 4 hours, 4.5 hours. So we'll cross over into WA border in about 50 Ks. We're just taking it pretty slow going across the Nullarbor. We're waiting for a few things to get delivered to Norseman, so we're not in any particular hurry, and because we're both feeling pretty average, we're just kind of, taking our time. I tell you what, before we headed across, I decided Starlink have recently changed their plans, and like they're including on the roaming plan, they're including in motion. So I figured we might as well actually have Starlink mountable to the Troopy so we can have reception and everything like that while we're traveling across the Nullarbor. But very frustrating. So I installed a mount, which I got off a company called Outcamp. Yeah, all installed really easy. The dish kind of mounted up there super easy. But now I'm having a frustrating issue with my Red Arc system. So in the Troopy, I have a Red Arc Manager 30. I've had it in there for years and years. I've a King's 1500 watt inverter. Everything's been in there, working really good, never an issue. So I'm trying to run Starlink off that 1500 watt inverter, which works fine when it's stationary. But while I'm driving, I'm now getting this charge over voltage error on the Red Arc system. So it doesn't just happen with the Starlink, it actually happens when I'm charging the drone batteries as well. So they charge like perfectly while I'm parked up. But yeah, once we start driving about 15 minutes down the road, you hear a beeping and basically it cuts out the system. Super frustrating, and I don't really know how to solve it. So yesterday I ended up calling Red Arc on the phone. Like, they've been super helpful with some issues with the Caravan system a couple of weeks ago with the solar. So I thought I'd give them a call again and see if they could help out. But it's just, I think it's just a bit too difficult to solve over the phone. So I'm a bit of a loss. So what I'm thinking of doing is I actually have this Anderson plug up there, which is from my rooftop tent. So I'm thinking of getting another little small inverter, installing it in that roof box that I have up the top. How's we managed to lose our bloody Caravan step mat the other day in travel, and there's this really sticky stuff underneath. So I've had to sacrifice a tea towel for the sanity of our feet at the moment. So definitely need to get into a town where we can get something to replace that. Dump in the evidence.
Sorry?
Dump in the evidence.
We made it. We made it to the west.
We're in WA. Whoa, crazy. That was pretty full on going through there. Like, she was super thorough. I've been across here a bunch of times on surf trips, just in like just a normal car, and they usually just let you go through pretty quickly. But she wanted to check everywhere then. Hey, so don't know. I wouldn't want to be trying to sneak stuff across.
Especially not honey.
Yeah, honey.
Honey.
We had to kind of dump all our bits of leftovers in the bin just before, but we didn't have too much left, thankfully. But yeah, it kind of sucks that you can't take like honey across, but it is what it is, I guess. Anyway, probably got about 4 hours to drive to camp tonight. Yeah, we'll see you there. Hopefully something exciting actually happens on the way.
I mean, I'd be okay with like nothing super exciting.
Yeah, but
like a safe drive would be nice.
A safe drive would be nice, but maybe like something interesting to see apart from straight roads. Yeah. I don't know, something.
I just don't want any big events to happen.
Yeah, no breaking down of cars or caravans, and I'll be pretty happy, I reckon. So. This is what I was talking about this morning. Don't know if you can hear that beeping, but it's bloody frustrating. So I had an idea that I wanted to test out because it said like charge over voltage or whatever it is. I thought maybe if I unplug the solar panel on the roof. Anyway, it seems to work. It instantly starts happening again. If there's anyone that knows their stuff with electrical, give us your opinion on that, please. I would love to get this sorted out, but at the moment, it's a pretty easy fix. I don't really need solar running while we're driving, so I can just unplug it and then replug it back in again. The hardest part is I'm gonna actually have to remember to do that. So anyway, it's a temporary fix, but it should do the job. I tell you what, we haven't had much rain at all for the past couple months on the road, but it's looking pretty dark and ominous up there. I reckon WA might be welcoming us with some rain. Bundrabilla Roadhouse, 228. It's pretty good for around here.
Oh yeah.
This should get us through to either Balladonia or Norseman, so definitely cheaper than $3 back on the Nullarbor.
Yeah, for sure.
So legends, now that we are in WA, I want some recommendations for the best places to check out. Drop us a comment below and let us know where we should go, what we should do, and I'll do the best I can to kind of film it and make it look epic. So our plans, just so you know, is we're actually going to head up through like the inland part of WA. We're heading up towards Caravan first off. I'm going to visit one of my good mates I haven't seen for a few years, and then we'll slowly make our way down the coast. So if you got any recommendations for particularly going up the inland way first off, yeah, drop them below. I want to hear about them. Copy the road train behind the Jayco. We're going to be turning right in about 5k, so if you want to overtake when you get a chance, I'll slow down a bit.
Yeah, chance mate. I think there's a couple coming towards us, so.
Honestly, having a UHF in the car is such a necessity, I reckon, throughout these ways. Like, we never had one until this trip, but it pays for itself just with safety and like overtaking and like all the oversized loads and that. Like, we're finding we're using it a fair bit out here, so highly recommend. Here comes the rain.
Going inside.
Majura Pass Lookout. This place is actually a free camp as well.
Yeah, it looks alright.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's nice to have a caravan when the weather's like this, eh?
So good. Able to escape from the rain and have a warm meal.
What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? Oh, we made it. That was
a big drive.
Well, it wasn't even that big. That was only like 4.5 hours, but it felt like 8. And
You also did all the driving.
I did, and I'm not feeling the best today, so it makes a big difference, eh? But I'm bloody pumped to be here and to do not much of anything. So, dinner.
Let's go for dinner at 1:30 p.m. because we've gone through 2 time zones.
Yeah, it's crazy. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight, that's for sure.
They're so cute. Look
Actually, magpies, or are they Carawans?
I don't know. They didn't look like magpies because they're not black, they're brown.
Do you like them, Noe?
Yeah, they're cute.
Let's do it. So, in another week of Ben and Ash's words of wisdom. No, just joking.
No.
I thought it might be pretty interesting for some people to hear us talk about our experience of life on the road with 2 dogs. It's been 2 months. It was definitely something I was very, very nervous about before we went away, like to the point where I almost kind of didn't want to go because we had to bring the dogs. I was pretty stressed about not being able to go to places and just how it would impact us. Also, the fact that like our dogs are pretty high maintenance in regards to they're not very good with other dogs and they're not very good with people that they don't know.
They're nervous.
So, yeah, they're nervous, but it's just another thing that kind of makes you stressed about going away with them.
I wasn't as stressed.
Yeah, but that's what I do. So that's all right. I kind of like weigh up all the pros and cons of everything in my head and think it over about 1 million times and can't stop thinking about it. But anyway, that's for that's another story for another day. But anyway, so it's been 2 months now, and I think overall it's actually been a lot better than what I expected it to be. What about you? What do you reckon?
I mean, I didn't really know what it was going to be like, but I certainly wasn't as anxious about it as you were. I knew there were going to be frustrating things.
Yeah.
But I already knew that about our dogs, so...
Yeah, for sure. I think, like, they've exceeded my expectations, and so far it hasn't really impacted with things that we can do and where we can go and everything like that. So... obviously, like, we've just crossed the Nullarbor now in this video, but before that we spent a couple of months over in South Australia, but mainly the Eyre Peninsula. And honestly, the Eyre Peninsula with dogs was amazing. Pretty much can take the dogs nearly anywhere. Obviously, there's the free camps and the low-cost Eyre Peninsula camps and stuff like that. So most of our camping was done in those places.
And there's very little, I mean, like, there's 1080 bait around. For sure, but it's usually pretty well signed, and there were loads of areas that we could have the dogs off leash on the beach and stuff.
Yeah.
We're pretty careful though. We don't like them not tethered at camp, and we try to keep them on leash as much as we can, especially since we've had a couple of incidences.
Yeah, so that's probably the one thing that we have noticed since going away is, like, our dogs have been sick more often in the last 2 months than what they have been in the last 6 years, or it feels like it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it's mainly because our dogs, like, if you give them an inch, like, they just eat anything. Hey,
They're scavengers. They're scent hounds.
Yeah, so they're straight onto it. You open the door to take them out for a second before you can put them on a leash. They're just, like, running straight in the bushes, trying to hunt things, or... like, the stumpy tail lizards, like, or just
chicken bones,
any
bones,
like, just absolutely anything. They're all over eating it, and it's actually made them sick a few times now. So, like, at one stage, both of them went through a cycle where they, like, had a kind of gastro bug, and
that was pretty awful.
It was like having a baby again in the house. Like, we're having to get up like 5 times a night and everything like that. So that was pretty crazy. And then obviously, like, the most recent one is we had the pip eye incident, and that was because she was trying to pull against her lead to get a chicken bone on the grass, and that's literally what caused that. And that's about $500 or $600 later that cost us, which is definitely wasn't in the budget. But it's just kind of part and parcel of having a pet, I guess. But
yeah, that's probably, like, one of the things that I didn't really consider was there not being very many vets.
No, not at all.
When you're in remote areas.
Yeah.
So, like, we were in Ceduna, and we had had 2 choices. We either had to drive to Kalgoorlie,
Yep.
which is like, what, 3 days?
Yeah, a few days away anyway, yeah.
Or back down to Port Lincoln, which was 4 and a bit hours.
Each way, yeah.
Each way. So, and when I spoke to a vet nurse, and when they said stuff with their eyes can get really serious really quickly, it just wasn't worth us going.
No, like,
we had to go back.
And we just wouldn't be able to live with ourselves if we kind of ignored it and then something bad was to happen. So anyway, like, it's done and dusted, and she's doing all good now. So that's really good, and hopefully kind of we've had our little bits of...
Don't say it.
Yeah.
That's it is what it is.
But yeah, overall, Eyre Peninsula, fantastic. Even caravan parks, like, we've found basically... It's been pretty easy. Like, we have barking collars for the dogs, so if we're in kind of like an area where they're going to yap a fair bit, we just put the collars on when we put them outside and that. But
they don't wear them all the time. It's just only in instances where we know that they're going to bark, and
it makes
we don't
them
want to disturb anyone. It keeps them calm.
It makes them way calmer. They're like completely different dogs when they wear them. Like, they don't look as anxious. I feel like it's the barking and stuff that makes them, builds up their anxiety and that.
It's like a cycle.
Yeah, but yeah, caravan parks are going good, very easy. The only probably places we couldn't go over in that kind of area, we didn't hit the Flinders because it looked a bit tricky with the dogs, and also it was kind of out of the way from where we were heading at that stage. And we couldn't go into, like, Lincoln National Park and Coffin Bay National Park.
But we did go into Whalers Way, which was like I think like we'll just have to kind of live with slight compromises.
Yeah. And like Whalers Way is pretty much in the same kind of area as well, and very similar stuff. So, and look, that being said, we bought that block of land, and we're going to be moving down here, so we'll get plenty of opportunity to go into those national parks in the future once we finish traveling. So, yeah, that was all good. Overall, like, I reckon the dogs have actually adapted really, really well to this. Like, they actually seem a fair bit calmer. I believe them when they're at home. Like, we get less barking and carrying on now than what we did when we were at home, and they seem pretty comfortable. I think it's just because they get to spend all their time around us.
They're with us 100% of the time. When we were at home, they were left at home by themselves. We were working and you know, doing stuff, and now they're just with us 100% of the time.
Yeah, well, pretty much. Occasionally we will for small amounts of time leave them in the caravan, depending on weather and where we are and everything like that, just if we need to run into the shops and that. And yeah, they've been really, really good with that as well. Very excited to see you when you get back, which is pretty standard. But yeah, they've been pretty good, and they're pretty comfortable in the caravan. They haven't destroyed anything, which is one thing that I was worried about when we did that the first time. Yeah,
I wasn't worried.
Really?
Yeah, no, I wasn't worried. As long as there's no cardboard around for them to chew.
I don't know. Yeah, they're pretty good most of the time with that, but they can jump up onto tables and everything like that. So
yeah, I mean, look, that I expected. Frankie's like part. I bet you if we put a camera in here when we go out, it would be like Frankie's parkour.
It'd be pretty funny to see. Probably the hardest thing that I found, which I knew was going to be pretty tricky too, because it's like this at home, is people's reactions to seeing the dogs, because they're sausage dogs and everyone wants to come up, particularly kids want to come up and pat them, and it's quite hard to say no to people sometimes.
But
and
you have to. We can't like, not, because they're just like, and especially with little kids in the caravan parks.
They've never nipped anyone at all, but they're just like, they get such anxious messes that you just never know, and it's just can't roll the dice with that kind of thing. Yeah, so
I've had one little girl say to me, "Why did your dog growl at me?" Because she's just scared.
Yeah.
But a lot of kids just don't if they have dogs themselves, they have no pause before they run up and try to touch another dog.
But yeah, anyway, that's like a bit of a 2-month update. If you guys have any particular questions about dogs and stuff that we haven't answered, there's probably a bunch of things I could go over that I haven't. Please drop them in a comment below, and we'll 100% get back to you. I love chatting about all this kind of stuff. So
it'll be interesting to see how we go in WA.
Yeah, so
just be different.
Just hit WA, and I feel like WA is probably going to be a little bit more challenging. I feel like we started out with probably the best area to have dogs that you can get. So anyway, it'll be interesting, and we'll kind of just take it one day at a time, and we'll give you guys another update in a few months and let you know how WA's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
This is like a little ball rock.
It is. It's a ball rock. Oh, first stop for the day. Germs have really hit me today, so the struggle is real. On the flip side, we are only a couple of hours out of Norseman, so that is our destination for today. Yeah, so I guess first proper big town we'll hit in WA, which is good because we need to fill up water, we need to empty the toilet, and we'll need some fuel for sure by then. So Troopy's done pretty good across the Nullarbor. Did about 19.5 litres per 100, so I think that's pretty good, because I see some pretty insane stories about other people. I tell you what, but it was pretty nice to be in WA time zone, no daylight saving. So yeah, the sun actually went down around, I think it was around 6 o'clock last night instead of 8 o'clock or whatever it's been in SA. So we like that heaps better. It seems to work better. It's way easier to get the kids to bed at a decent time. It also works really good for me because I like doing star shots and stuff at night, and I was having to be up crazy late to do them when we're in SA. So yeah, it feels good to be back in that kind of time zone. I know everyone's going to have a different opinion on daylight saving and stuff, but yeah, it seems to work better for us, particularly on the road. So Yeah, just got to kind of adapt to going back that couple of hours now. I like woke up this morning at like 3:30 in the morning, so definitely could have used a few extra hours sleep, but we should adjust to that pretty quick, I reckon. Some pretty good colouring, buddy.
I look like a grandma when I'm driving.
You look like a grandma when you're driving.
Do I look like, I'm asking, that's a question. Do I look like a grandma when I'm driving?
I don't know, everyone, what do you reckon? Does she look like a grandma when she's driving?
I don't know, just whenever I see myself back in the video, I look really not relaxed. I am relaxed.
Leave us a comment below and tell us if Ash looks relaxed when she's driving.
Maybe let's not open the floodgates for commenting on what Ash looks like on YouTube, please.
Mum looks like a mum.
Oh, thanks, babe.
So what did you think of the Nullarbor?
It's just like a vastness of like just knee-high shrubbery.
Yeah. There's some cool spots to check out, Bart, I think.
Oh, yeah, like the cliffs were super cool. And like even where we stayed that second night, where it was more beachy.
Yeah, yeah.
We drove down to like kind of the coastline. That was really cool too. It's just vast and wild and yeah, it's pretty amazing.
I really enjoy it. Like I worked out that's the 5th time that I've done it, and like honestly every time I do it I seem to see something a little bit different in that, so I wouldn't want to do it every week or anything, but like I quite enjoy doing it.
People often like do you think that people like consider like this whole stretch to be the Nullarbor? Because the Nullarbor is actually not really that long, like the actual Nullarbor plains.
Yeah, I'm really not sure, hey.
Because like I felt like the actual Nullarbor part was not that long for me. It was totally fine. It's like the stretch afterwards, after you get over across the border.
Yeah, I reckon that always feels
like,
the longest, I reckon.
Yeah. But do you reckon people like just like kind of put it together? It's like, oh, yeah, we're crossing the Nullarbor, and then they just include this section.
Well, I reckon it's kind of like most people consider it like when you leave like the last big town in South Oz and how long it takes you to get to the first big town in WA.
Yeah.
So what are you most excited to see in WA? You've never been before?
Never been. I am excited to see the beaches down south, and I would also really like to see some of the gorges like at Caravan, but we'll just see how that goes. I'm kind of just open to seeing whatever we get to, because I haven't never been here before, so I have like kind of no real expectations, but I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. I reckon like beaches down south, Esperance and that, and Albany and Denmark. Plus, super keen to see Carragini, and then also like right up the top end, which I've never been. Like I'm keen to check out Exmouth and all those kind of hyped up spots that look pretty amazing.
We'll see how we all go with the heat, because we are not really hot weather people.
No.
Sounds funny because we're Queenslanders, but yeah, we just don't cope very well when it's super hot.
Nah, we hibernate in the heat. Made it. Nullarbor done.
Holy moly. What a drive. We made it to Norseman.
Finally. Tell you what, I didn't have much more in me today. Like that was a mission. I tell you, the world was bloody testing us with that water fill up and dump point. Like it took so long just before in the heat. So we're very keen to be parked up at camp and just have a rest. I've got to smash into some more editing because I need to get another video done in 3 days to put out this Sunday. So that is going to be me for the rest of the afternoon. So I think it's probably time to wrap up this video. Bit of a different one with crossing the Nullarbor and the vet experience with Pip. Hopefully you guys found some entertainment and value out of it. Once again, we had an amazing time and we're so thankful to be doing what we're doing. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe, like, comment. I love talking to all you guys and it really does help us out. Anyway, legends, we will see you in the next one. Not 100% sure where from yet, but I'll get back to you soon. Awesome. Thanks for watching.